Do you have a habit of making maybe not so great or even bad decisions? You know, the kind that tend to reveal patterns in your life, or maybe have you looking at yourself in the mirror thinking, oh, why do I keep doing this? And how can I do something differently? That's what we're going to cover today, because I have a few hunches of some underlying things about what may be going on and some simple solutions you can implement to start making better decisions. Welcome back to my channel. I am Dr. Kate Flynn, the Active Deconditioner. I guide women and men through a process of unbecoming everything they were never meant to be so that they can have an authentic experience and have a life well lived. So if that is something you're responding to or you may be interested in, then reach out. More about that later. Let's jump right into today's topic, how to make, well, first, why we maybe sometimes make not so great decisions and how we can start to make better ones. Reason number one, we ignore our natural tendencies, our natural inclinations, our natural rhythm. Some of us tend to rush right in head first and make decisions quickly. Try to make other people make decisions quickly. We try to force things into being or make things happen, when really our natural rhythm would be to wait, to allow life to come to us, to respond to whatever reveals itself and shows up, and experience more satisfaction when we do that versus the frustration that comes with trying to force and push. Others of us are busily telling our 2 cents to anyone that will listen, or making the decision to jump into, hey, I know the answer, hey, I can do this, without being invited, when your body's natural inclination may be to wait, to settle. You know, you probably are an expert in some area. You have wisdom to share and guidance to offer, but it has to be invited first. And if you're resonating with this, it's probably because you may be having an aha moment that, oh, that's why I feel bitter. That's why I feel rejected. That's why I feel like I know the answers and no one wants to hear it. It's because your natural rhythm would be to wait to be invited. Then a few of you out there actually have the natural rhythm and inclination to initiate, to make things happen, but you've been kind of programmed or conditioned to believe that you're not allowed. So you wait for other people to do that. And that has probably led to a fair amount of anger within you versus initiating, making your own choices, bringing things into being. You know how that feels to bring you peace instead. So how do you become aligned or in tune with your body's natural rhythms when it comes to making decisions? You've probably heard of or are familiar with the concept of grounding into the earth, maybe as a meditative practice or something along those lines. But first, you may find it helpful to ground into your body. I think a lot of us are actually skipping that step, because to occupy our bodies means to listen to the whispers that it shares when it says wait, when it says do, when it says move, because your body's giving you this feedback all the time, but we have to be present to hear those whispers. So I like to, and this can be really simple. This doesn't have to be like a 20-minute process that you do every day. But whenever you notice yourself like telling your mental story or becoming attached to outcomes, it's kind of like all of this craziness going on up here, and it's stemming from your mind, from your thinking thoughts, from your not self. And you can use your intention and your imagination to just kind of unplug the power source from all that, to say, ooh, there that story goes again. I'm not fueling that anymore. And intentionally ground whatever energy was fueling it into your body. So it's like, okay, it's all up here, spiraling out of control. I'm probably going to make some not great decisions. I'm going to breathe and bring my awareness back into my body. And notice, how am I perceiving my heartbeat? How am I perceiving my stress level? What does it feel like to be in this body? How do my muscles feel? How do my joints feel? All of those kind of directions for your mind help you become grounded and centered into your body. And then by all means, if you want to continue and send it down into the earth to ground further, or you may even want to play around with grounding the earth's energy up into you. That's my favorite way to ground. Reason number 2 that you could be making less than optimal or correct decisions when it comes to creating your life has to do with something called an energetic signature. So there is this stamp we put on all of our interactions with the outside world. It's kind of like our own personal bat signal that we radiate out. And it really teaches others how to interact with us much more so than anything we say or do. And when we attract others into our experience based on that, it can lead to some challenges in making the most correct decision. So think about if your energetic signature would be, say, like I'm a doormat, and maybe there's a literal doormat right up there, then you might feel like people walk all over you, or maybe they make decisions for you, or it's hard to find your voice. So you can exchange that for something that better represents what you want to share and how you want to interact with the outside world. So if my energetic signature was doormat, if I wanted to change that for something else, I could ask my body simply to show me. And that's how you find out what your energetic signature that you're starting with is anyway. If you don't know, if nothing came up to your immediate awareness, oh, this is my energetic signature, it's an olive branch or a bulldozer or a big warm welcoming hug or a bright star. Ask your body to show you what is the signature you place on your interactions with the outside world, and it will give you a word, a picture, something you can work with. And then you can decide, oh, is that something that I want to be sharing, or would I like to exchange that? And if you would like to exchange it, then you simply ask your body for a new one. What would better represent what I want others, or how I'd like others to perceive me, or what I want to share with others? What is in the highest alignment with my authentic self? So if it's a doormat, it might be like a handshake or a welcome sign rather than a doormat. Something that says we're in connection with each other, and I'm not going to let you just kind of roll over me or walk all over me. So you can play around with that. Again, this can be a quick, simple little exercise. You visualize what your current energetic signature is. You ask for a new one. You see the old one dematerializing into nothingness and the new one coming fully into place. And that is then the message you share with your outside world. You come into alignment with it, you resonate with it, and then you make your decisions according to your body's natural rhythms. Reason number 3, you could be making less than beneficial decisions, has to do with how we bond and connect with other people. So sometimes maybe you have noticed that you tend to connect from your place of woundedness to the wounded pieces and parts of others. Maybe like when you walk into a room, you connect with the most wounded person in that room, and that's how you bond and connect and make your decision to be in relationship with them. And it's out of the hope that, I don't know what it's out of the hope of, honestly, because it's kind of like you both end up sinking on the boat together, right? It's hard when you're both in that place. It's hard to try to lift each other out of it. Whereas if you walk into a room and you decide, you make the inner decision that you are going to connect with the healthiest, most radiant parts of the most radiant people in the room, and you make your connections that way, and so your energy is focused on where it is you want to go and how you want to live your life versus the wounded parts that just keep telling the same story of how you don't want to live your life. So that's not going to resonate with everybody, but I have a feeling it's going to resonate with a few of you. And that's something you can change. It's all about your intention and where you put your awareness. So especially when it comes to, if you make the decision over and over again to be in a relationship with, narcissists or people that take advantage of you or whatever it may be, these are all things that are going to come together to bring you up out of that space and make it easier for you to make better decisions. Reason number 4 that you could be making less than correct or optimal choices has to do with inner boundaries. So a lot of times we hear those word boundaries, and it's typically talked about in the context of our boundary with other people and how we allow them to treat us, and if they respect our boundary or they don't respect our boundary. I like to take this concept or idea a little bit deeper and bring it into myself, right? Because if other people are taking an advantage of me and I'm saying you're not holding my boundary, well, they're showing me who they are. They're showing me who they are. And if I continue to be in relationship with that person, then that's on me. That's not on them, right? So inner boundaries are agreements we make with ourselves about what is acceptable and how we decide how we want to interact with the outside world. So if you have a lapse in the boundaries of, I'll give you a couple examples here. One, I am free to be me. If that is your inner agreement, your inner boundary, I am free to be me, then you get to make decisions that are correct for you. But if that boundary is lapsed or weakened, then you're going to find yourself saying yes to others in ways that devalue you. You're going to notice that you tend to make decisions based on what makes it easier for everybody else, but then at the same time makes it harder for you. You also might find that you expend energy you don't have to do things in attempts to keep up with others. So incorrect decisions to do when the energy is not there to support you in that doing. Another thing you may notice when there's a lapse or weakness in that boundary is that you keep yourself still. If you're not free to be you, you're not hearing those inclinations from your body. You're not getting up and moving when your body wants to move. And you may find that you don't get enough exercise, you don't get enough energy out because you're just trying to stay small and still, and maybe no one will notice me. And it's really challenging to make good, correct decisions from that place. So how do you want to cement or solidify the boundary of I am free to be me into place? Well, I'm so glad you asked. My favorite way to solidify boundaries is to combine a mantra with a movement. So we start with I am free to be me, and then we ask our body, how can we move in a way that really magnifies that energy and makes it real? Maybe you do a twirl, or you do a jump into an X with jazz hands, or something that feels really good to you. Again, you can ask your body to tell you, how do you want to move to bring these things into being, and then do that thing combined with the mantra. Another example of a boundary that could be making it more an inner boundary, that could be making it challenging for you to make good decisions, is I move in accordance with my internal flow. And you might see with that, we've made it full circle back to the first thing. So all of these things can work in connection with fluidity to make it easier for you to make really good, healthy, correct decisions. I move in accordance with my internal flow. When we don't do that, when that boundary is not in place, we tend to find that we conform to the expectations of others. We try to live up to the versions that other people hold of us that aren't even real or don't even exist. So we say yes to things that we clearly know we should be saying no to. And it also makes it such that we hold ourselves bound to past versions that no longer exist. So when you agree to move in accordance with your own internal flow, you nullify and mitigate all of that other stuff. You are free to be you, you flow, you're in your body, you're hearing those signals, you're waiting if it's best for you to wait, and it brings you satisfaction or success, and If you are here to initiate and make things happen, then you're doing it. You're letting your body live your life rather than trying to be all up here in your thinking thoughts. So I hope that gave you a few things to think about, to consider, to kind of ponder on. And if the corrections resonated with you, then I hope you implement them. And I would love to hear about your experience in this exercise and what resonated with you and how you felt after you implemented the correction. And if you're sitting here and you're responding and you're thinking, God, yes, I do these things, but I just don't know if it could be this simple, maybe I need a little extra guidance, then reach out. I would love the opportunity to guide you through this process in a way that is easy and efficient and helps you live the kind of life that you would like to live. So the link to schedule is in the description below. That's all I have to share with you today. I will see you in the next video.